There was a time for a 7 or 8 year stretch where during the football season, I was doing 30 to 45 radio interviews a week with the nation's top sports talk show hosts. I mean, it was literally, I would sit there on a Thursday and Friday, I'd do a 10 to 12 minute interview, be looking at my watch going, the guy in Minneapolis has got to get me off the air because the guy in Tampa is going to be calling in 2 minutes. Literally, just one interview after another, talking about every college team you can possibly imagine from UTEP to Alabama, you know, every NFL team. And what made it work for me were the hosts that were really into the gambling aspect, the betting aspect. And some of these guys, I mean, they asked questions that were right there because I know that they were putting their own money on the game. In fact, to be honest with you, more often than not, probably about 60% of the time, I cannot tell you how many times I would finish up an interview and before I could hang up the phone, the producer would immediately get on the line and say, hey, Al, can you hold on for a second because host so-and-so wants to talk to you for a minute. Oh, he didn't want to tell me what a great job I did, which naturally I always did a great job because I'm a great interview, and it helped to be a great interview because I used to have my own radio show, so I was on the other side of the fence. I knew what these guys were looking for entertaining radio. But I cannot tell you how many times these guys would then get on the phone and then say, hey, you know, we didn't talk about this game, we didn't talk about this game. Oh, you want to know what I like for the games that you're interested in betting? That happened, like I said, about 60% of the time. But the one constant string, you know, whether I was doing a show in San Diego, doing a show in Philadelphia, or doing a show in Podunk, wherever, is that guys would ask me inevitably when the Triple Crown season would come around, if I happened to be doing interviews at this time of year during the NBA postseason, etc., you know, what I thought about horse racing. And I tell them the same thing. No interest. Never been to a track in my life. Never bet on a pony in my life. Have no interest in reading about it, watching it, nothing. Except when the Triple Crown is at stake. Because yesterday I was just like everybody else. Because when the Triple Crown is at stake, that is one of those events that transcends everything else and just becomes part of the public stream of consciousness. And I've said this many times with other sporting events. The Super Bowl, the Triple Crown, when the final race, you know, everything's at stake. World Cup soccer. Oh, by the way, what happened to World Cup soccer? Didn't it make such inroads in the United States after the last World Cup? Yeah, right. Oh, you soccer fans, you really hated me during that tournament. But World Cup soccer, when the United States is playing, the Olympics. I mean, you'll find yourself watching the Olympics if the United States happens to be in the finals of curling. You have no idea what these guys are doing with broomsticks and these little things that look like shuffleboard on ice. You have no idea what curling is, but you watch it because of the U.S. It's one of those things that the non-sporting person out there will watch because it's an event. Big boxing matches like that horrible one between Floyd and Manny a couple of months ago, right? You watch it because it's an event. And that, to me, was an event yesterday. I mean, a thrilling event. 37 years since Secretary did it. I mean, I vaguely remember Secretary winning it when I was a kid. You know, as a matter of fact, I think we were at a party. I think we were at a family party. It was like a horse racing party. I remember everybody had these stupid little hats and favors and stuff, and there was a cake with horses on it. I don't know. But, again, just like you yesterday, I mean, I was a fan. That was exciting to me. That was really cool to watch something like that. Again, I'm never going to go to the track. I'm never going to bet on the ponies, and no interest otherwise, but that was a neat thing. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, and this, of course, is going to be your Sunday video report. Listen, I'm on a 17-7 run with the complimentary plays after a 2-0 sweep on Friday, followed by a 2-0 sweep on Saturday, when yesterday I gave you free winners on the Milwaukee Brewers early, and then late on the Arizona Diamondbacks. And today I'm going to take a look at game number 2 of the Cavaliers-Warriors series and give you my thoughts on the total in that contest, plus an early baseball selection as well on the game between the Rangers and Royals in Kansas City. One other little sidebar here, happened to go last night and see the new movie. It's in limited release. I think it's only in maybe 600 theaters across the country, but the movie, of course, I'm talking about is the one about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, Love and Mercy. Very interesting movie. I mean, listen, nobody's going to go see this movie unless you happen to be a Beach Boy fan or you're well aware of what the drama involved with the whole family, the Wilson family and Brian Wilson and the psychosis and the drugs and, you know, I mean, if you're not interested in any of that and you don't like the music, you're never going to go see that movie. And it was really weird. I go last night and there's like 30 people in the auditorium, in the theater, and I am the second youngest one there, without a doubt. The youngest is my son, who is a bigger Beach Boy fan, and I was never a Beach Boy fan. I mean, I think, the Beach Boys, I think, had all their hits before I had a radio. Okay, so, but I mean, I know all the popular ones and stuff like that. Now, my son is like a diehard. He knows everything. He knows all about the Smile album, Pet Sounds. He's sitting there telling me last night, as we're watching the movie, this is this and this is that, and I'm going. But the point about it I wanted to make, Paul Dano, wow. What a performance, guys. If you happen to see this movie, what a performance, because Brian Wilson is played by two actors, played by Paul Dano in his early years, and with the haircut, with the extra weight, with the way he talks out of the side of his mouth like Brian Wilson does, an amazing performance by Paul Dano. Now, John Cusack plays Brian Wilson later day. And the movie jumps back and forth constantly throughout, so it's a little confusing at times. Now, John Cusack is one of my favorite actors. I mean, you can go back to Say Anything, to Grosse Pointe Blank, to, anything he's done, High Fidelity. I'll watch John Cusack. The only problem is, as I'm watching the movie yesterday, I didn't see Brian Wilson. I saw John Cusack. I just didn't see Brian Wilson at all, because every little twitch, every little joke in a way that he made, I'm going, yeah, that's the same delivery, John Cusack. It just didn't work for me with him. Great performance, though, by Paul Dano, if you happen to go see the movie. Very good performance by Elizabeth Banks, too, who I'm also not a big fan of. But I can honestly say this movie and Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, two best movies I've ever seen her in. But anyway, that's your movie reviews for today. Now, in terms of basketball, what's going on here? Listen, I said a couple of days ago after game number 1, if you won with the Warriors like I did in game number 1, you were lucky. The gambling gods were smiling on you on that particular day, because it's just like the Super Bowl. If you had the Patriots, you didn't deserve to win, but you got the win, and you walk away going, whew, that was lucky. If you were on Cleveland the other night, if you were on Seattle in the Super Bowl, you lost those games, and let me tell you something. What can you do? I mean, the gambling gods gave you the fickle finger of, well, we can't go into this is a family program, but the bottom line, they gave you the finger. Everything happened except the cover, right? And what do? You walk away, you shrug your shoulders and go, it's gambling, which is why I've always said it's gambling. There are no guarantees. Look it up in the dictionary, guaranteed and gambling, not on the same page. But listen, game number 2 is tonight. We know Kyrie Irving is gone along with Kevin Love. They'll be watching it, which means it's LeBron and a cast of thousands up against the Warriors tonight. Half-price play of the day, turning once more to Steve Buden's #1 NBA crew over the past 5 years out of New York for their 50-dime winner, number 19 out of 25 for your Golden State Cleveland Game 2 side. Game 1, they had the Warriors. You got it as the half-price play of the day. And I chose them the other day, not because they were on the Warriors and I like the Warriors as well. I chose them because last year, if you may recall, in the Spurs-Miami series, they won a perfect 5-0 with their series final selections. They were all 50-dime plays. Well, now, 6 straight winners. Hopefully number 7 today. It's the half-price play of the day. They are 63-42 with their selections over the past 5 years. And the coupon code is HALF, H-A-L-F. Also, don't forget Brad Wilton, 50-dime playoff winner, number 17 out of 24. This is the playoffs, 17 out of 24. It's the Warriors-Cavs total. You got his 50-dime total on game number 1 going over for only $14, saving $85 off the regular price. Same thing goes today. $14 by using coupon code BRAD. Congratulations going out to Shawn Michaels, 100-dime winner. You got it yesterday for wow, you hear that car going by my window here? Jesus. You got Shawn Michaels play yesterday, I think, for $39. A savings of $60 off the regular price. That 100-dime winner as he cashed in on the afternoon card with San Francisco on the run line against Philadelphia. Giants holding on for that 7-5 win, so props going out to him. All your other promos, etc., can be found over on the homepage. Let's talk about game number 2 tonight. So, we know Kyrie Irving isn't going to play, okay? We saw what LeBron did. I mean, just phenomenal effort. Literally carried the Cavaliers on his back in game number 1. I mean, what more? And I'm not a LeBron James fan. You know that if you watch these video reports over the years. I'm not a big fan, but you have to respect what he did in game number 1. I mean, he played 46 out of a possible 53 minutes. He had 44 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And they still lost, okay? They're going to have problems, obviously, replacing the 23 points that Kyrie Irving gave them in the opener. But here's what I'm looking at here tonight. I'm looking at this total, and as a matter of fact, let me just get you the absolute latest number on this total. Oh, yeah, you think I would have looked at this before I started the video report 5 minutes ago? Still, 200.5, okay? I'm looking at this game, and I'll tell you what, I got to go with the under because to me, if I'm the Cavaliers tonight, I got to do a couple of things. I've got to get Tristan Thompson involved in the offense. He only had 3 points in game number 1, right? Because you need other scoring options now that you don't have Irving out there as well, okay? I've got to slow down the pace of the game because I've got to be worried if I'm Dave Blatt that if I even think about putting in Mike Miller or James Jones or Sean Marion, if Dellavedova and J.R. Smith and or Iman Shumpert are struggling, that the Warriors will just abuse them defensively, right? I've got to slow down the pace of this game tonight. I've got to get more half-court options going. And I've got to run the ball again through LeBron and watch him be more the facilitator than the scorer in this particular game. Because they went the other way, because the Warriors were more than happy to let LeBron light them up because they banked on the fact that everybody else wouldn't beat them. Well, tonight, the key, if you're thinking of going with the Cavaliers, is you need everybody else to contribute because you had your big guy, LeBron, go crazy, and it wasn't good enough. Again, I think that this is going to be a slower, dictated tempo, more of a half-court game. I think that Cleveland will definitely batten down the hatches defensively. Listen, Golden State didn't play that well offensively in game number 1. I mean, especially, Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. I mean, they were like 9 for 27 or so in that game shooting. It was really the bench and the small ball lineup that Steve Kerr went with, which propelled them to the win. Again, I just think that the under is the way to go. Listen, I did think the under was the way to go in game number 1 as well. And then the fourth quarter, it was like, hey, Curry scored. Oh, James scored. Curry scored. James scored. It went back and forth and then went to overtime and blew the total right there. But I do think tonight we're going to stay under the posted price. I'm going to go with the Texas Rangers, who are 19-11 on the road as a slight road dog, plus $1.10 with Colby Lewis on the hill. At Kansas City against the Royals and Jeremy Guthrie today. Listen, Colby Lewis, 5.56 earned run average in 6 road starts, but the team has scored at least 8 runs in 5 of his past 6 starts. In fact, in those 6 starts combined, they've scored 55 runs total. He did beat the Royals back on May 11th at home, giving up just 1 run in 7 innings pitched. Jeremy Guthrie has, he hasn't pitched that well. That's for damn sure this season, right? 6.17 earned run average. And you look, he's pitched 54 innings, right? He's given up 66 hits, and 10 of them have been home runs, right? So that's 1/6 of the hits he's allowed about have been home runs. He's also walked 17 batters. So the way I look at it, do the math, it's 66 plus 17, so you got 83 base runners in 54 innings. And you only have 20 strikeouts. Now, you're a ground ball pitcher. But it seems to me that every time Jeremy Guthrie turns his shoulder over, he's going, guys on first, guys on second. That's not the way to win games. The problem with the Royals right now, they are simply not scoring any runs. This is a team that, they have last 11 games. They've lost 9 of those 11 games. In those 9 losses, they've scored a total of 11 runs. In the 9 losses. That's why they've lost 9 of 11 games. Meanwhile, you got the Rangers. They've won 7 of 8. They've won 14 of their last 17. Their last 8 games of which they've won 7, they've averaged 5.8 runs a game. They've taken the first 2 games in this series. They're 19-11 on the road, and I'm going to go with them as slight dog in this game as your other complimentary play. Well, that'll cover it all for the Sunday video report. Best of luck to you guys, and I'll catch you again on Monday when we do this one more time.